Intervention is in the U.S. best interest, and intervention is not in the U.S. best interest. I will make this as simple as I can, but these are not simple things to ask in our world today. This is not a black and white issue. I cannot in good conscience, knowing what I know about the world, answer yes or no definitively. For me to answer no, the U.S. would have to be an isolationist country where no one comes in or out, and we don't interact with anyone politically or economically on a global basis. For me to answer yes to this, I would have to agree to the U.S. intervening in everything they've intervened in every single country they've intervened in, now and before, which I definitely do not agree with. So as you see, this simply cannot be a black and white issue. In my mind, as a fairly conservative person, our issue with the U.S. intervening is about our country's security. Is intervention in the best interests of our national security in any given country? If it is not, I would question why we are intervening. According to usdefense.gov, as of December 2015, there are 9,800 troops stationed in Afghanistan, with 2,300 more set to be deployed from the U.S. to replace some of those 9,800 troops, leaving the troop count in Afghanistan to close to 2,000. President Obama has said by the end of his term, he wants to have 5,700 troops in Afghanistan from the U.S. Why are we in Afghanistan? This is a touchy subject that has a long answer. I will try and simplify it. On September 11th, 2001, the World Trade Towers and the Pentagon were attacked by Al-Qaeda's 3 airplanes, killing approximately 3,000 people. Our war in Afghanistan began after that tragic day. The first attacks on Afghanistan began with an air campaign on October 2007. The U.S., along with NATO forces from countries like Australia, Germany, and Great Britain, continued to fight the war on terrorism in Afghanistan. Little by little, our troops are coming home, and many at a great personal cost to their families. Now to another country the U.S. has intervened in. Syria. This is another touchy subject. Syria's president, Bashar Assad, has waged a war in his own country with rebel extremist terrorist groups. Syria's president's claim is being moderate Alawite Muslims. His own wife is a highly educated woman who does not wear a burqa and is involved with her husband's political career. The groups he fights against are ISIS and a few other homegrown extremist groups. These groups swear they will not leave Syria or stop fighting until Syria agrees to become Sunni Muslim or a group similar to it, because they do not accept the Alawite way, which is a modern and moderate Muslim, and they do not follow Sharia law. They allow women's rights and are not as violent as in their nature to fight against everyone that does not follow and believe in them. In essence, the U.S. has trained the extremist groups in Syria to overthrow the Syrian moderate government. In essence, they are training the Syrian extremists, who are the same people we are fighting against in Afghanistan. This is a mess, it seems. This is not an opinion piece about Muslims, although in reading about these groups, I have some definite opinions about all of this. My point is going back to what I said in the beginning. If our intervention is to protect our national security, then we should intervene, as in the case of Afghanistan. If our security is not being directly affected, such as the Syrian civil war, I do not believe we should intervene. This seems simple to say, and I know none of it is. No one wants to see our troops fighting in another country and coming home broken or worse. I don't think there is a rational person in the U.S. who doesn't want every single serviceman or woman home safely. Unfortunately, this is not a possibility right now. We are fighting for freedoms in Afghanistan and fighting against people that threaten our national security on a daily basis. We see them in our countries, we see them coming into our country, and we are fighting against them. This is a national security issue. What is happening in Syria is sad and it's unfortunate, but this is not our problem. This is the Syrian civil war, and it is not a matter of national security. So intervening should be a matter of national security. So I do not think that this is a black and white issue, and I don't think that there is any way to make it a black and white issue. Thank you.